You set the grocery receipt on the kitchen table and read the total twice. The bags did not look fuller than last week. The money simply went faster. I know that feeling. It can make a capable person feel as if the kitchen has become a problem with no honest answer. But there is an answer, and it is not a plate of misery. I am going to give you 7 plain suppers from a federal home economics cookbook published in 1931. Every modern batch I priced came to less than $1 per serving in a Medina, Ohio area store basket checked in July of 2026. The lowest was 28 cents, the highest was 99 cents. Those figures are not promises for every town or every appetite. They are measured examples. Near the end, I will show you the one dish that best explains the whole method. Cabbage, spaghetti, cheese, and breadcrumbs become 8 respectable servings for $4.99. That is not deprivation. That is structure. Down in my basement workshop, the green ledger stays in the top drawer of the bench. Worn cloth, frayed corners, pencil columns, and a careful hand. I open it because it reminds me to measure before I make a claim. The ledger scene is family storytelling. The recipes today come from a real public record. Aunt Sammy's Radio Recipes Revised was issued in May of 1931 by the United States Department of Agriculture Bureau of Home Economics. The foreword says it gathered 400 popular recipes and 90 menus from radio talks for housekeepers that began in 1926. That does not prove every family ate these dishes. It does not prove my grandmother made these exact recipes. I cannot show you her recipe cards, and I will not borrow authority from a woman who is not here to correct me. What I can show you is what federal home economists actually published. Bean soup, lentils, hashed brown potatoes, corn chowder, scalloped cabbage with spaghetti and cheese, Spanish rice, potato soup. Then I can put current quantities beside them and do the arithmetic in daylight. By the end, you will have 7 batch plans, the cost of each batch, the cost of each serving, and 1 food stretching rule you can use this weekend. You will also know where the old book ends and my modern adaptation begins. That line matters. I spent 40 years as a machinist. A micrometer is a tool that measures tiny distances. It taught me that close enough is often another name for not checked. For too many years, I treated groceries differently. I bought for a single dinner, used half a package, lost track of the rest, and went back to the store. I was not feeding a family better. I was paying for poor planning. So I built one price basket. It used store brand or the lowest comparable package shown for pickup around Medina, Ohio. I checked it on July 12, 2026. I included the salt, cooking oil, bread, and crackers actually used. I left out fuel, sales tax, delivery fees, cookware, and optional garnish. Those exclusions are important. The serving counts are conservative light supper portions. Soup is about 1.5 cups where the pot allows it. A person doing heavy work may need more. A larger family may double the batch. Allergies, sodium limits, diabetes, kidney disease, and individual nutrition needs may change the plan entirely. The result is not a national average. It is a reproducible shop and a fair comparison. Prices move. Packages shrink. Before you rely on any number, price the same quantity where you live. My father wrote things down so he did not have to guess. We can honor that habit without pretending his pencil predicted today's checkout line. Start with navy bean supper soup. Use 16 ounces of dry navy beans, 4 ounces of bacon, 5 ounces of onion, 8 ounces of celery, 1 tablespoon of flour, and 1 teaspoon of salt. That pot makes 8 light supper servings. The measured batch cost is $4.29. That is 54 cents a serving. The 1931 bean soup used navy or black beans with salt pork, onion, and celery. Bacon is my modern stand-in for salt pork. If you leave the bacon out and use a tablespoon of oil, the cost falls. The useful method is simple. A modest amount of meat seasons a whole pot. It does not have to occupy the center of every plate. Next is the savory lentil and onion pot. Use 16 ounces of dry lentils, 5 ounces of onion, 4 tablespoons of oil, and 2 teaspoons of salt. Simmer according to the package until tender. It makes 6 servings for $2.40. That is 40 cents each. The old recipe offered hot sauce. I leave that optional because the base meal does not need it to meet the price. Third is potato-onion hash with 1 egg each. Use 32 ounces of potatoes, 4 ounces of onion, 2 tablespoons of oil, 4 eggs, and salt. Divide the skillet 4 ways and put 1 egg on each portion. The batch costs $2.74. That is 69 cents a serving. The 1931 base was hashed brown potatoes. The egg is my clearly labeled modern addition. Leftover cooked potatoes can save time if they were chilled safely. Fourth is corn chowder. Use 32 ounces of potatoes, 4 ounces of bacon, 5 ounces of onion, 2 15-ounce cans of corn, 2 cups of milk, 4 ounces of saltine crackers, and salt. The crackers count because they are part of supper. 8 servings cost $5.55. That is 69 cents a serving. Here is the food stretching rule underneath all 4 meals. Build the bulk with an inexpensive staple. Add onion or another aromatic for depth. Use fat, milk, egg, cheese, or a small amount of meat for satisfaction. Then divide the finished batch before seconds begin. In a machine shop, a jig keeps repeated work in position. In a kitchen, a measured ladle or 8 containers does the same job. It turns good intentions into equal servings. Do not buy all 4 meals at once unless the ingredients overlap with your normal cooking. Choose 1 batch, mark the date, portion it. Watch what your household actually eats. Thrift that creates waste is just waste wearing an apron. This kind of cooking did not disappear because potatoes forgot how to feed people. It faded because convenience changed the unit of thought. A household once looked at a sack, a pot, and 3 suppers. Modern packaging often asks us to look at 1 tray, 1 pouch, and 1 heating instruction. That convenience can be useful. Carol and I use it sometimes. But convenience also hides the arithmetic between package price and serving price. The old method asked what a staple could carry. Beans carried onion and a little pork. Potatoes carried milk, corn, or 1 egg. Rice carried tomatoes and peppers. Cabbage carried pasta, sauce, cheese, and crumbs. Nothing magical happened. The cook assigned each costly ingredient a smaller job. As incomes, advertising, refrigeration, and prepared foods changed household habits, batch knowledge became less central. I am not asking you to romanticize 1931. Kitchens were harder places to work. Choices were narrower. Labor was real, and scarcity was not charming. The lesson worth recovering is not hardship. It is control. A package can tell you what 1 purchase costs. A batch tells you what supper costs. Those are different measurements. It is not nostalgia, but arithmetic. If chopping, standing, or lifting a heavy pot is difficult, use frozen chopped vegetables, a safe seated work surface, or a smaller batch and recost it. Paying for useful accessibility is not failure. The goal is to remove waste, not dignity. If you are thinking this only works for people with a farm and a root cellar, stay with me. This next part is for the house you live in right now. Fifth is scalloped cabbage, spaghetti, and cheese. Use 32 ounces of cabbage, 12 ounces of spaghetti, 3 tablespoons of flour, 3 tablespoons of oil, 2 cups of milk, 8 ounces of cheddar, 4 ounces of bread, and salt. Cook the cabbage and spaghetti. Make a plain white sauce with the oil, flour, and milk. Layer it with the cheese. Top it with crumbs and bake until hot. 8 servings cost $4.99. That is 62 cents each. The historical dish used American cheese, butter, white sauce, spaghetti, cabbage, and buttered crumbs. Cheddar and oil are modern substitutions. This is the clearest example of stretching because the cheese gives character while cabbage and pasta provide most of the volume. Sixth is Spanish rice with bacon. Use 4 ounces of bacon, 12 ounces of onion, 2 green bell peppers, 1 28-ounce can of tomatoes, 12 ounces of dry rice, and salt. The rice is priced dry before cooking. 6 servings cost $5.94. That is 99 cents each, the highest cost in this set and still below $1 in the dated basket. For a meatless version, omit the bacon and sauté the vegetables in 1 tablespoon of oil. Seventh is potato soup. Use 16 ounces of potatoes, 5 ounces of onion, 2 cups of milk, 4 tablespoons of oil, 1 tablespoon of flour, and salt. Parsley and pepper are optional. 6 light servings cost $1.66. That is 28 cents each. It is the lowest number here, and it needs the most honest warning. A larger appetite may require 2 servings, bread, or another side. Double the quantity and recalculate instead of pretending a small bowl is a feast. Now the safety line. Old recipes are historical evidence, not current storage instructions. Wash hands and surfaces. Keep raw meat separate. Keep the refrigerator at 40 degrees Fahrenheit or below. Put cooked food into shallow containers and refrigerate it within 2 hours. Use most refrigerated leftovers within 3 to 4 days. Reheat leftovers to 165 degrees Fahrenheit. Bring soups to a boil when reheating. Cook the eggs in the hash until the yolks and whites are firm. Older adults face higher risk from foodborne illness, so this is not the place for a soft egg shortcut. Navy beans are the specified bean in our soup. Sort and rinse them. Soak them in the refrigerator, drain them, add fresh water, and cook until fully tender. If you substitute dry kidney beans, use current package or extension guidance and give them an adequate, vigorous boil. A slow cooker alone may not get hot enough to neutralize the kidney bean toxin. Milk, cheese, egg, wheat, and pork appear in this set. Check labels and fit the texture to the eater. Whole beans or firm vegetable pieces may not suit someone with swallowing difficulty. These meals were not analyzed as therapeutic diets. Bacon and cheese may be too salty for some people. This method also fails when you cook food nobody in the house wants, when a giant batch spoils before it is eaten, or when a specialty substitution costs more than the original. Start with 1 familiar pot. Freeze only when the food and container are suitable. Label the date. The safe portion you eat is economical. The forgotten portion is not. If you want the worksheets behind this way of thinking, the Depression Household System is $17 at grandpasledger.com. It includes the monthly ledger pages, 30 food-stretching recipes with per-plate costs, the repair box checklist, a seasonal bill-cutting calendar, and a pantry and preservation guide. It is yours forever with no subscription. The public 1931 cookbook I use today is free. The system is my organized household tool built from public sources like that one. Now stay with me, because the next dish is the entry I built this whole video around. Open Aunt Sammy's Radio Recipes, revised to printed page 45. You can read it free through the Internet Archive. The title is Scalloped Cabbage, Spaghetti, and Cheese. That page matters because it shows the method without pretending the method was glamorous. The federal recipe combines cooked cabbage and spaghetti with white sauce and cheese, then covers the dish with buttered crumbs and browns it in the oven. Look at the jobs. Cabbage supplies inexpensive volume. Spaghetti supplies familiar substance. White sauce binds the dish and spreads the milk and fat through every serving. Cheese supplies a stronger flavor, so 8 ounces can influence the whole pan. Bread that might otherwise go stale becomes the crisp top. My modern batch is not a word-for-word copy. I use 32 ounces of cabbage, 12 ounces of spaghetti, 3 tablespoons each of flour and oil, 2 cups of milk, 8 ounces of cheddar, 4 ounces of bread, and salt. The arithmetic is $1.56 for cabbage, 74 cents for spaghetti, 2 cents for flour, 12 cents for oil, 38 cents for milk, $1.87 for cheese, 30 cents for bread, 1 cent for salt. Together, that is $4.99. Divide the pan into 8 equal portions before serving. The result is 62 cents a portion in the July 12th basket. That single pan teaches the larger system. Do not ask one expensive ingredient to fill the plate. Ask it to season, enrich, or bind a less expensive base. Do not wait until leftovers become a problem. Give the bread a job while it is still useful. Do not estimate portions after the pan reaches the table. Mark 8 portions first. The book was issued by Federal Home Economists in May of 1931. It is evidence that this combination was published then. It is not evidence that every household used it, and it is not my grandmother's documented recipe. That distinction does not weaken the lesson. It strengthens it. We do not need a family legend to make cabbage, pasta, sauce, cheese, and crumbs add up. We need a pen, a pencil, and the willingness to divide $4.99 by 8. When a measured pan comes out of the oven, the feeling is not excitement. It is the quiet satisfaction of knowing what supper cost and where tomorrow's lunch is waiting. 7 meals. 8 servings of navy bean supper soup at 54 cents each. 6 servings of savory lentil and onion pot at 40 cents. 4 servings of potato onion hash with 1 egg each at 69 cents. 8 servings of corn chowder at 69 cents. 8 servings of scalloped cabbage, spaghetti, and cheese at 62 cents. 6 servings of Spanish rice with bacon at 99 cents. 6 servings of potato soup at 28 cents. Price them where you live. Change what your household will not eat. Keep the safety rules current. Then write down what happened. That last step turns a cheap dinner into useful knowledge. If one of these 7 belongs on your table, leave the meal number in the comments. Just the number. I read everyone. Next Saturday, I am opening the workshop drawer beneath the ledger. Inside is the repair box, the small system that keeps a loose handle, a torn strap, or a missing screw from turning into a replacement purchase. One box can make you look at a broken tool differently. This is not a channel. It is a family ledger, reopened, one entry at a time. Subscribe if you want to help recover the next page.